Nice one, Simon.
Cheers.
Okay, ladies and gents, we're going to move swiftly on with a topic which goes very well with the one we've just been listening to. So I invite you to swiftly put an end to your sexual daydreams. Thank you. and we'll move on. And Ben, before you leave, you can leave me the contact for the pepperoni pizza guy from my Twitter feed. That's fine. The transformation from a club to a media house, it's almost like the next logical step. It goes on from what we were just been talking about. We're going to hear about how one of the most successful clubs on social media built their operation with Stefan Mennerich from Bayern Munich. He's the director of new media and IT, and the partnership that they have with Deutsche Telekom, which has been crucial in putting together everything they've succeeded. Henning Stiegenroth is the senior VP for sports marketing. Hi. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming. Who's going first?
Just start.
Help yourself. The marriage between football and technology.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Thank you. Hello. I'm very happy to be here. I've learned a lot today about how football will develop and how important the business is. And I was sitting there and everything was very interesting for me because this is where the football goes, where the business goes. But on the other hand, as a guy who works for a football club, it's important for me to make a statement that we are still a football club. We heard a lot about CRM and about figures and numbers and how can we make money out of that and how can we make money out of that. And this is important for us because otherwise we would not be able to pay for the players we have and to be competitive in the European competition. But on the other hand, we are not just a company who sells a homogeneous good. We are a football club and we are dealing with emotions. And I always tell the people working in my department that, yes, we have to go for CRM, we have to take care about the business we make, but the first newsletter we sent out to a 60-year-old Bayern Munich fan who is sitting since 40 years in the main stand could be a horror for him. Now they begin to monetize myself. I don't want to be a fan any longer of that club. So we always have to take into account that we are a football club and that the first thing we have to do is to play good football and to bring the content we have to the people. And the rest is important and we have to take care about CRM and making money. But that won't work if we do not respect that it is very sensible, the field of football, and that we are dealing with emotions of people who love that club. They don't want to be a cash cow. They want to be respected for their love to the club. And we have to take care about not only thinking about business and CRM. For sure, at the end we have to do that, but always very sensible. And this is what I learned from today. We take care about football business, but football is we are still a football club. And we have to take care about the emotions of our fans. But sure, the media landscape changed. Some of you are too young, but others may remember how you received the football World Cup in 1990. There was TV, there were a newspaper, there were radio. And all the people who produced content were professional content producers, journalists. In 2014, the last World Cup, it changed. There's not just professional content producers, but the players produce content on Twitter, on Facebook, on what else. The clubs, we produced a lot of content during the World Cup. The federations, the fans themselves produce content. So there are many content producers. And there are many devices you can receive the content on your laptop, on your mobile, on the social media platforms, and still on TV and newspapers and radio. What happened since 1990 until 2014? It was the technology developed. There are disruptive technologies. We have more storage capacity. There are many more end devices, for example, 3 billion internet users and 7 billion mobile phone subscriptions. The distribution is not only via satellite or via cable, it's via DSL, ADSL, don't know what else. There are many, many ways to distribute the content. And the people are used to that. They are used to use the internet. Their mobile phone is inherent part of their life. And so they, following to the change in technology world, the people change their behavior, how they want to consume content. And as a further consequence, the business models changed for sure. It's not any longer the traditional business models. It's more global. It's, we have to be on platforms like Google Plus and Facebook and Twitter and so on in order to enlarge our brand and in order to reach our fans worldwide, as we are acting local as a football club, but we have fans worldwide. And in order to be able to reach them, we have to use these platforms. So even a football club like Bayern Munich is a media production company, and we are able to reach, and we want to reach, the fans wherever they are and whenever they want to get in contact with us. For example, at 7 a.m. in the morning, they can read the recent Bayern Munich news on their mobile app. When they go with the train to their work, they can get in touch with other fans via social media platforms. In the lunch break, and just in the lunch break, they can watch the FCB news on YouTube, for example. At 4 p.m., we send them a newsletter, an email with merchandising offers. At 7 p.m., as soon as he is at home again, to be honest, I hope he buys one product in our online shop. And at 10:30, he can still watch a player interview via his mobile phone. So we can get in touch with our fans, but we have to bring our content to where they are. I say social media platforms, and these platforms are the pedestrian zone of our world. And we have to be in the pedestrian zone in order to reach our people. It is not enough to just have your own proprietary offers and accounts. You have to go where the fans are in order to reach them and in order to grow your audience. All these contents you saw have been on our platforms, and what it is about at Bayern Munich, it's or all the football clubs, it's about emotions. We have to bring these emotions to the fans. We are with our camera teams, we have our studio next to the locker room, so the players can come in and make interviews. We are in the stadium. We have own studios in the Allianz Arena. We have studios at our training ground. We travel with the team in the same airplane to the Champions League matches or to the training camps. We are in the same hotels. So we try to be very close to the players in order to create emotional content and in order to bring emotional content to our fans in order to maybe make the relationship closer between Bayern Munich and our fans, and maybe to win new fans, to gain new fans. Because in a stadium, there are 70,000 spectators, that's a lot. But on our digital platforms, there are some, we reach up to 1 billion digital contacts per month. That means if a fan in Jakarta, for example, goes on our website, and there he creates 3 or 4 clicks for digital contacts. Then he watches our worldwide TV show, 5th contact. Then he goes on our Facebook page, 6, 7, 8 contacts, and so on. So one fan creates maybe 10 contacts a day, times 30 a month. So these are 1 billion digital contacts. So it's not a net value, but it's very important because all of these contacts via our platforms are relevant in order to create a relationship and to bind our fans with Bayern Munich. And we have to take care about each single of these 1 billion contacts per month in order to bring our emotions and our club around the world. So our digital platforms, here are some posts and tweets. We have around 30 digital platforms we run. But all this, and now I speak about the transformation of the club, does only work if the back end on the other side is able to be that fast. So you see the front end again on this side, and on the back end, which you see here, there has to be a good IT system, there has to be a CRM system, it has to be very fast. Now we have a new partner, SAP. They help us to have a total one whole ecosystem with CRM, and we will have Hybris. It's a new product of them, which helps us with CRM and this 360-degree customer. So the external world, the media, only makes sense if we have a mirror in our cellar, in our IT rooms, with a very performant IT in order to be able to take the same speed which we have on the other side, on our media side, and the speed which the users expect from us. After that, if that works, we can use these platforms in order to reach our business goals, the internationalization, the merchandising via our platforms, the sponsoring, and if we integrate our partners, and the sales of our FCB TV, our subscription service, and so on. But all this works only if at first the communication is good and we have a lot of fans worldwide, and only after the communication worked we can go for these business goals, and we have to have a good IT and a good infrastructure. And at the end, it changes a little bit the organization, even of a football club. The digitalization gets more and more important, as it is important for the stadium, for the ticketing, for club media, for the merchandising, the e-commerce. So digitalization is relevant for all the departments with this Bayern Munich. Even the sports department, they take a lot of, they use a lot of IT things in order to analyze and statistic and data and everything they do today with the modern analytic tools. Everybody needs the digitalization within Bayern Munich and within a football club. And only if we have centralized digitalization in the core of our club, we can reach everything we want, and we can satisfy our external stakeholders like fan club sponsors, and so on. So a football club will ever be a football club. If he loses that core, he loses everything, in my opinion. But the digitalization is very important in order to support the goals we can reach if the football is okay and if the communication is okay. But then the digitalization has to work in order to reach the goals we have beyond football and beyond communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan. You at Bayern Munich, have won 1 or 2 trophies recently, doing pretty well. You're also at the forefront on the social media side. With all that you've done and everything that you've showed us there, which is all very impressive, you're one of the leaders in world football. Have you managed to pay for all that with the revenues that you've brought in, which are fresh?
In the beginning, when I started to work for Bayern Munich, I had to work like that. I had to earn €1 more than I spent every time. So in the beginning, the growth was not very fast. But in the meantime, everybody knows that it is not just the direct revenue which is relevant, but our sponsoring will be more successful, our merchandising will be more successful, whole the business will be more successful if our brand is bigger and it gets bigger via these platforms. And so their investments are possible now. Okay,
well, I'll open the floor up later if they have questions for you as well. And part of the success is also to do with your partnership with Deutsche Telekom. And Henning, you're going to tell us how you've been working together to grow the business.
Yes, we have a very good relationship. We are main sponsor of FC Bayern. And we want to add another digital platform. But first of all, I want to start with some figures. Nowadays, 2/3 of all the people don't leave their house without a smartphone. And they use it on events, like on a football game. And more than 70% watch videos via their smartphone. So this is actually a huge number. And of course, we heard that with social media networks, of course, mobile is the first advice. You're doing that. But also 76% notice mobile ads, and they start more and more to buy things via the smartphones, and this will increase all the time. Why did I show you that? Because a smartphone is a very important advice for the next digital platform, which is Stadium Vision, we call it. And that is the fan experience. Stefan told us that FC Bayern Munich has a user journey, and that all day long they have something for the fans. But where they still can get a little better is at the main event, when they have a live match in the stadium. Of course, they do a lot already there, but this is the most emotional moment. And there, that is the best time and the best place for media and this digital platform. And we think this platform has to have 3 components. One is the connectivity. Of course, people want to have Wi-Fi in the stadium. This is one thing. I think more or less everybody experienced already during a live game, 60,000 people, 70,000 people, they all try to post something, and they can't come through because they don't have any connection. But this is just one side. The other side is that we think we need screens, a lot of screens, and these screens should be connected via IPTV, via IP standard. I will explain this later. And of course, the smartphone is very important because that is a device nearly everybody has. So the mobile app is a third component. But to have the systems, of course, you have to invest. And that is, you ask Stefan, if this is easy. Of course, that is always a burden to invest before you get the money. You have to invest a little bit. But if you will use a system, you need, of course, high-speed internet, and you need the authentication because you want to know the user, the identification. We spoke about that already this morning. And you need the IP network because you want to have the connection between the screens and you want to target ads, so you need the IP network to have the possibility to target. And you need, of course, the hardware, you need screens, and you need a mobile broadcast system, because if you have video broadcasting in the stadium, you really need a lot of bandwidth. And usually you cannot do that. You can do posts, but if you watch videos, it's really tough. If more than 200 people are doing that, it's more or less not possible. And then, of course, you need an operation to do this service. So why should you do this investment? And how can you earn your money back? Of course, the Wi-Fi connection is very important because people want to share pictures, like you know, they want to share videos, they do match tweets, and they go on the internet and look for some information. But it's pretty hard to get the money back with Wi-Fi connection, because people are not really willing to pay for just the connection, because they are used to it. They have a mobile access and they have Wi-Fi more or less without paying anything, and so it's pretty hard to get some money out of that. So you could add some, or you could hire the prices of the tickets, stuff like that, but clubs usually don't really like this idea. So it's kind of hard to get money back out of that. So the next thing is you have to deliver some content, because I guess everybody experienced that. When you are in the stadium, you want to see maybe a replay because you just didn't see the goal, or you want it from different perspective because you don't know if it was really a goal or not, or if it was a foul or not. And maybe in the halftime you want to see some highlights, you want to get some news. What is the team lineup in the beginning? Maybe why a player had to go out, and so the club can deliver special news to the people in the stadium. And of course, in the end of the season, you want to see what are the matches like in the other stadiums, to see who's first and who's last. But for content, are people willing to pay for content? Well, it's not that easy either. Maybe a little bit, maybe in connection with a connection, but it's kind of hard also. So the third thing is advertising on e-commerce. And there's where all the screens come in, and the mobile phone. And with this IP network, you can target ads, because what is really good with this system, you have the VIP lounge. Of course, they are interested maybe in the new Audi, but the rest are not, because it's a R8 and it's really special and very expensive. So it's better to do the ad in the VIP lounge. Or you have families and they are interested in a special food and beverage offer, so you can adjust that. Or you have a merchandising, of course, it's only good for the home fans, so you can target that. And you have the possibility to do interactive ads. This is very good for sponsors because they get more traction. They can generate leads. I will show you that. And they can make special offer. So the club has a possibility to do some e-commerce revenues, merchandising and food and beverage, and the sponsor has an advantage for targeted ads and interactive ads. So we think all these three things combined, there you have the possibility to regain some of your investment. And after a while, we think in the beginning it's quite hard, but after a while, people will get so used to that. They really want the connectivity. They love the content they get there, and then they are willing to pay a little bit for that connectivity. And of course, the ads are very important for that. So coming back to interactive advertising with all the screens, you can of course say, well now we are playing, or the sponsor can have a certain game, and then you play the game, or you can do votings and stuff like that. and in the end, he can make a special offer for people who joined the game. You can have 50% off, or you have to register, and then, of course, they have leads, and then they come back to them. So this is a better opportunity than maybe just be on the boards and stuff like that. So to give you just an overview how it could look like, I have a little movie prepared. And in the end, I want to show you 2 examples of how we work together within content. And we use this content, of course, all the digital platforms Stefan told you, and of course the Telekom platforms as well. 2 different things. One is a TV show called Is Mir San Dran, which means that the user is able to put his questions to a star and get a very close answer. And we have this TV show every month. And we show it then on our platform, because we have a TV platform and an online platform, mobile platform. And the whole show will be 45 minutes, or 30 to 45 minutes. And the whole show is only shown at our platforms. And it is not what we don't want to be on the weekend, the first one who's reporting it, but we want just a more personality show. It's more, we always distribute it on Monday evening, and it's like here you see Bastian Schweinsteiger with his brother Tobias, and we do this show with stadium speaker, with Stefan Lehmann. He knows the player really well, and then he asks his brother how Bastian was when he was younger, and they show pictures when he was younger, and then the people can ask questions, the fans can ask questions, and then Bastian Schweinsteiger answers to the questions, and we have also a quiz. So we have a show what you cannot see on TV, and it's really special for the fan, and that is what we do every month. And on the other hand, we have Fan Voices. That is actually a karaoke tool, what we are using, and the fans are singing the FC Bayern song Stern des Südens. And we do this every home game, a new fan song. How do we do this? With fan voices, we ask people, of course, singing the FC Bayern anthem. We do this call for action on all the digital platforms. Stefan told us, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, and of course on the Telekom platforms. Then we broadcast these videos on our homepages, and then we cut a song from the fans all over the world, and then we show this fan song in the next home live play in the stadium, and of course on our digital platforms. And with Mir Santran, we have also a call for action, because we say, well, the next TV show, Bastian Schweinsteiger will be there. Put your questions, and we want it per video, so we have always a game. When you put it on video, you can win 2 tickets to the game, and so because we really want incentive videos. And then we broadcast clips in advance, so making tease the show, and we show this on Facebook, on YouTube, and Twitter, and then I always say, well, the whole show is then on our platform, on the Telekom Fußball platform or the Entertain TV platform. And here you can see we use, of course, all the social media platforms, and then trying to get a pull on our platform. So I think, like we discussed, you should be the owner, or the people should be identified. I think for this it's really important that we get some reach, so therefore the social media platforms are very good. But if you want to see more and to see the exclusive stuff, you have to go to our platform. And with fan voices, of course, it's very good for getting the involvement of the fans, and of course for a sponsor like us, it's very good to be close to the fan and give them some special things back. So you can see how we really work very good together, and it's really very important that we work together, because when FC Bayern speak to the fans is of course much better than when the sponsor speaks to the fans. So there's where we really need the support of FC Bayern. And in the end, I want to show you just one example of fan voices Stern des Südens by the fans.
Welche Münchner Fußballmannschaft kennt man auf der ganzen Welt? Wie heißt dieser Club, der hierzulande die Rekorde hält? Wer hat schon gewonnen, was es jemals zu gewinnen gab? Wer sind seit Jahrzehnten unsere Bundesliga voll Ertrag? FC Bayern, Stern des Südens.
Du wirst niemals untergehen,
Weil wir in guten wie in schlechten Zeiten zueinander stehen. FC Bayern, Deutscher Meister, ja, so heißt der Verein für euch.
ja, so war es und so ist es. Und so wird es immer sein. Wo wird lauschend angegriffen, wo wird täglich spioniert?
Wo ist Presse, wo ist Hummel, wo wird immer diskutiert?
Er spielt in jedem Stadion vor ausverkauftem Haus. Der hält den großen Druck der Gegner stets auf Neujahr aus. FC Bayern,
Stern des Südens. Du wirst niemals untergehen.
Weil wir im Guten wie in schlechte Zeiten
Zueinander stehen. FC Bayern, Deutscher Meister, ja, so heißt der mein Verein.
ja, so war es und so ist es.
Und so wird es immer sein.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Come over here, gents. That's called engaging with your fans, and your fans engaging with you. And I didn't see you, Stefan, unless you were the one with the long hair. No.
Yes, but it's as I'm not that good as a singer.
What did you think about earlier when the guys in our panel this afternoon were talking about owning the data and going beyond social platforms? What was your reflection on that?
I think at the end, on the long run, they are right. We're going for data. But on the other hand, there are two aspects which are very important for me. The first one is, which I stressed before, we are still a football club. And if we give the fans the feeling that we're only going for their data and for their ID, then whole the model will break down, and we will lose the emotions, and with that we will lose the fans. And so we have to be very, very sensible. And the second thing is, I am very much convinced that in former times we spoke about exclusivity on media. It was important to have exclusive rights in order to get the people on your platform. Now I had to learn it. It changed totally. It's like a mixing console. You have to push all the controllers up in order to have a very good sound all around Bayern Munich in our case. Because, for example, it is very good for Real Madrid that Cristiano Ronaldo is that big on social media, because it helps Real Madrid. And if they work together, then it helps Cristiano Ronaldo that Real Madrid is even very big on social media. So it is very important to have a total sound and not just an app or just that or just that. You have to widen your brand and by being on as many platforms as possible or as relevant. And the second step is to maybe gain data and to work with these data. But the first step is to be relevant on platforms and to reach the people and to have a good total sound by pushing all the controllers up and not one or the other.
Okay, well, you're doing some great work, yes.
And I think this is even more true for a sponsor, because, of course, when you are Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, then it may work. But if you are smaller, or if you are a sponsor, of course, people just don't give your identification. So you need to use the traffic, you need to use the reach, and then with Mir Santran, we put it just on our platform, and then you could say, well, why don't you let the people register for watching the video, and then maybe even pay for it, but then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller all the time, and then you don't have the reach anymore. So this is kind of difficult.
Would anybody like to ask a question before we wrap up? Okay, a couple of questions at the back. We'll just do 2 questions because time's pushing on, and then we'll move on.
Right, I'm World Soccer Football Federation, and with the digital income opportunities for Bayern Munich, is there the prospect that makes the German domestic league not as competitive? This being the case, is this the possibility of becoming a super club, which may lead to the creation of an ultimate European Super League in due course, along with the major teams of Real Madrid and Manchester United?
I think it is very important for the clubs to have their home leagues, their domestic leagues, because the fans love to have the matches of Bayern Munich against Köln and Schalke and Dortmund, and they love that competition, and we see how much they are engaged if we play the domestic matches. And the second reason is, if this European Super League model maybe would fail and would not work, what's then? Then we cannot go back and say, hey fans, we are back to Germany, are you interested still? I think it is very important to see the roots where we're coming from and to have our domestic competition. And I think with the Champions League and with the European League and with these competitions, we have a good mixture between domestic competition and between the pan-European competition. I think it is a good model, and I think we should always respect where we're coming from, and that a strong domestic league and a strong domestic competition is very important, even for us, even for Bayern Munich, in order to be stable for the future and in order to not disappoint our fans.
Hi, Stefan. It's Alex from FIFA. Firstly, I thought the presentation was fantastic and brilliant innovation. I had two questions, if I could be greedy. The first one is, how many people do you actually have in your team to staff the content across 30 platforms?
In the editorial stuff, there are 15 fixed hired people in the editorial stuff. And we have another company working for us, a production company, creating the content, the cameras, the editing, the cutters, and so on. And we have another team. I have another team with me. It's the classic IT team. There are another 15 or 20 people making, let's say, classic IT network and SAP and so on. But the editorial side is 15 fixed hired people and some freelancers.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's a few more than we have at the moment. The second question is, I know very much part of your strategy as a club is a sort of internationalization, and that includes China. I wondered what your plans were in China, and if you've selected which platforms you're utilizing, or why you chose that particular one, please.
In China, we started rather early, and we are on 3 platforms there, on WeChat, on Sina Weibo, and on Tencent. And we are very proud of being elected as the #1 of the world, in the world of the football clubs in China on our social media platforms by the Red Card study, which is the best study I've ever seen in China. And we have been #1 in China. And now with our internationalization strategy, where we're going to go to China, we think about a known website. Up to now, we just have a translated German website, but that's not really original, and it's not optimized to the needs of the fans in China and the look and feel and the kind of content creation. So we are thinking about having an own website and an own app there, but we are very present on the digital, on the social media platforms in China. We have an own presenter for our Chinese TV show, Liu, his name. And he makes 2 times a week. We have a Chinese news show, which we broadcast on our social media platforms and on our website in China. But we have to take the next step in order to have a website there, which is hosted there and created there and so on.
I'm sure you have other questions, but as always at the International Football Arena, I'll encourage you to ask them individually to our guys when we wrap up soon, because there will be time for cocktails for those of you who don't have to take a plane too quickly. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for your presentations.